Morning, Rob. H, how you doing? You all right?
Good, you?
Lovely to see you both again.
See you.
I'm buzzing. What's the stock like these days? Obviously, I've not been for a little while.
Well, I mean, in M2, what you're fishing, there's got to be over 650 fish. There's about 1240s up there and batters over 50, so
Lovely.
yeah.
Now I'm looking forward to it. And obviously, bait on site now.
For a lot of reasons that have been well documented, we decided to make our own bait on site, make it fresh. No preservatives going into the lake at all, whether it be particle, boilie or anything. So you got 4 choices of fresh boilie to choose from, all made fresh on site in the factory next to us.
Slings, mats, nets, still all provided?
Yeah, they're all on your swims, so when you go around to your swim, they'll all be set up and ready for you to go.
Brilliant. Well,
All right, mate?
that's enough talking.
Yeah.
You got me buzzing.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, wait, fingers crossed. Nice to see you both anyway.
Yeah.
Take care. See you
Cheers,
soon.
lads.
Cheers.
So it's the first morning. I've done a night last night, put a bit of bait out yesterday. We have to use the house bait, which is Old English Toffee. That's the one I've chosen. It's kind of like a milky sort of bait, really nice bit of bait actually. But what I've done is, the bait that I'm using is around about 12 to 14 mil in size. And I've taken a mix of that and also a mix of the 15 mils they do, but I've used the 15 mils to sort of crumb that down a little bit. I've sprinkled it over the top of what I've got. Added a bit of smart liquid, which is the stuff that I have to use this, all through the year to be fair. But it's a great liquid which sticks to the boilies. Once you've crumbed a bit of bait over the top and mixed that all in, everything sticks together. And when that goes in the water, that kind of like sends off little plumes of bait here and there. So I love to fish with boilies. You can fish with particles. A lot of people fish with particles here. They are available in the shop. But to me, it's spring, it's that time of year now where they're really getting their, they're going to start getting their heads down and they love a boilie. And also what I've done is I've took some of the other house pellets that they've got. They do a mix of high oil pellets and a slightly lower oil pellet. I've chosen a low oil pellet. Again, this time of year, the water temperature is not particularly warm yet. It's getting there slowly, but it's not quite where I'd like to use high oil sort of inclusions in my bait. So I've added a few sort of scoops of those into that as well, into the mix. So I've just shown you the mix that I'm going to be using, and that is definitely going to catch me some fish in this session, I can promise you. Right, so I've got the marker rod set up, got the RidgeMonkey transmit braid on here and the new lead. And we're going to have a cast about to have a look for this bar that I've been told is out around about 16 wraps. So I'm wrapped up at 16 wraps at the minute. Just hit the clip nice. Felt a nice donk there actually, went down nice and solid. Right, so I've put a bit of bait out, I've put 5 spoms out over my spot. I've clipped up to where my spom is at the moment, and I'm basically going to use just something very, very basic. I've got one of the house boilies with a little orange topper. I'm going to now put that first rod out to that spot and then get the other rod out, and then we are fishing. I'm using the 18-pound fluorocast main line, and the great thing about this line is it's like fluorocarbon, but even better. So it's a fluorocarbon coated line, sinks really, really well, abrasion resistant, it's fantastic, mega strong, and perfect in all situations.
Things have started off well. Hopefully we'll get this one in and we'll be able to show you carp soon. Well, there you go, fish number 1, a lovely mid-20. Proof in the pudding that the tactics are working. My ever faithful solid bag, just chucked out there where I saw fish showing, and finally this was a result. Absolutely buzzing. Good morning. You join me from the banks of the monument again with my second carp of the session, just over £21. Things are going a little bit slow, but I'm confident in the tactics, keep nicking away at them, and eventually one of those big girls will turn up. So this is a rig that I'm going to be using here at the monument on this week's session, and it's a slip D rig. It's a rig that I've got ultimate confidence in. It's never let me down, and every time I get a bite I know I'm going to land it. So I'm going to talk you through the components. So starting at this end, I've got £50 Sub-Zero lead-free leader. Now I'm fishing over on the top of a bar. I just wanted that extra bit of security and extra strength out there. So then that comes down to a tail rubber, which is connected to a 3-ounce flat pier inline, and then inside that I've got a size 8 flexi ring swivel. And what I've actually done is just squeeze that swivel, so the minute there's enough weight in that lead for the fish to hook itself, but during the fight, when the fish shakes its head, that lead will come free, which ultimately means they can't use the weight of that lead then to get rid of the hook. After that, I've got 5 inches of the 25-pound Silk Flex braid, and all I'm doing is a loop-to-loop system, so it makes it very easy to change my rigs as I go. In principle, it's just a slip D rig, and what I've got is I've got a size 4 apex curve, my favourite pattern of hook, one I've got ultimate confidence in, and I need to know, certainly on venues like this where there's big fish, they forget a bite, it's not going to let me down. Over the eye of the hook there, I've got one of our small curve kickers, just to extend the shank, and then my hook bait of choice at the minute is, well, I'm going to be swapping through this session, to be honest. I'm going to be using the Simply Red and the Old English Toffee, which are boilies that get fed at RH and you have to use their baits. So I've got half a wafter on there, and on top I've got a white cell quad cut in half and trimmed down to make the hook bait as small as possible. Everything inside a solid bag needs to mimic small. If there's no good putting a big hook bait in the middle of all them tiny pellets, it's just going to get sussed out. So that's mounted onto a mini hook ring swivel, and that is the rig that's done the damage for me, probably, like I said, exclusively over the last 2 years. So I'm going out there with what I've got confidence in, and hopefully it won't let me down on this session either. Well, we are into the third fish of the session. I got up early this morning at first light, redid this bag, and it's just gone now. I think it's around 1 o'clock, something like that. So it's taken a good few hours to get a bite, but rather than crash around everywhere, Spawn put more bait in with how it's fishing, just left the bag out there. It's actually a rod. I actually saw a fish over the top of this probably 2 hours ago. Sometimes just sitting on your hands can really pay off. So hopefully this time, this is one of the 30-pounders that the monument is famous for.
Seven on the nose, I think.
Yeah?
That. Yeah.
Lovely.
Sweet.
They're doing it.
Yeah, mate. Lovely job, mate.
Times are hard.
So what have you been doing? Any tactics, any tips for me up
Yeah,
there? Because
so
I'm struggling a bit up there, just to let you know.
I didn't want to put a lot of bait in. I literally decided to start with just single bags.
Yeah.
And just try and dot them around wherever I saw fish, put a bag. You have to use a fishery bait here. So I've bought some of the 2mm pellets that they sell on site.
Right, okay.
You're allowed your own hook bait, so I've been using my own little pineapple hook bait, some salted squid wafters, the Old Faithfuls.
Right, okay.
And then just dotting the bags around.
You didn't tell me about them, did you? Yeah.
You've got some in your bag. All sorts of little trickery.
Yeah. It's fantastic, mate. Let's hope we have a few more, eh?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Stick to your guns and believe in yourself and fish consistently well. You can pick up mirrors just like this. Absolutely made up.
Woohoo! What can I say? It's the early hours of the morning, and yeah, something special has just happened for me as well. Check that out. One of Monument 2's biggest commons. I'm not sure which fish it is, but 43.5 pounds. I'm absolutely buzzing. This is the icing on the cake. I'm absolutely blown away. Get in here.